Sign up now at elevate.miami.edu for my course, Organized Rhyme. Looking at the word legacy, while involving some wordplay, I'll use the first syllable to build upon. We'll use the first syllable, leg. For the second syllable, we'll use an. And for the third syllable, we'll use the word knee. So now we have leg and knee. Can we use it in context with legacy? Let's just see. Wordsworth Productions with a S.com for all merch. I got 2 books available right now. Well, Words Are Worth Volume 1, and I also have a children's book called Socks. Age range from 12 to 15. What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What Words Are Worth. And today is a special episode. I got my brother from another on here, and my journey has been part of this man's journey, his journey. I'm part of his journey. And you know how they say steel sharpens steel. And y'all wonder how I became so dope is from hanging around dope MCs, like the people that I interview. But this person was around for every rhyme and cipher. We toured and walked around the city, toured the globe together, put out a project together, rapped on several songs together. And he goes by the name. He's one of those MCs that also, you know, you want to get your verse off first when you come on stage in the freestyle. You like, yo, let me go on before you. You're going to ask him to go on before him, because when he come on there, he's going to shut it down and it's too much to live up to for you. So welcome to the stage, no other than Punchline. Let's get it.
What up, what up, what up, what up?
Yo, how you doing, man?
I'm good, B. What's good?
I'm good, man. I just saw that, well,
I lost audio on you.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. It's back.
We good? Yeah. So I saw you performing with Quali the other day.
Yeah, Philly.
Oh, so what was that event for?
It was just a show he had going on. He's doing a little run. So him and Nico was performing in Philly, and Philly's not too far from New York. Right. So I grabbed AL and we just drove out there.
So then also people sometimes don't think like we're active still, you know, like I know you're active and so on and so forth. And then recently you had opened up for the Lyricist Lounge Park Jam, the summer jam. They had opened it for Raekwon. What was that like for you to be like kind of like a full circle, being fans of Wu-Tang? And did any of that come into your mind?
Yeah, it did, because being that it was Raekwon's 30th anniversary, I'm like, okay, you know, the Wu crowd gonna be out, so it ain't like it's gonna be an empty park. So I was excited about that part of it and whatnot. But it was kind of, you know, it also felt weird coming back performing at the lounge. I haven't performed at the Lyricist Lounge in like decades, so doing it was kind of like a full circle moment. But it was dope though. I had a great time.
Do you remember when we like first performed? Well, was that our first performance? I think that was our first performance for the Lyricist Lounge.
Yeah.
And then kind of like we worked on the show with Gowdy. Me being around you were the one that helped me learn how to orchestrate a show, because I was just thinking we're gonna go on rhyme, and you was like, nah, we should do this first. And
the setup, the structure of it.
The setup. I learned that from you. So man, there's a couple questions there. So that first performance that we did at the Lyricist Lounge, you remember that evening? Because it led to other things. When we performed at Tramps, kind of elaborate on kind of doing that show and what it led to.
Yeah, so I remember that like it was yesterday. So we was in the crib. I think we was at Pope's crib and Gowdy, and we was talking about the show, and we kind of put the show together. And then we went and rocked the show, which was dope. Once we got through the beginning part of it, everything else kind of just fell in place. Like everything felt just like a natural freestyle cipher or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like normally when you have shows, you prep up, you might be nervous because you want to make sure everything hits on point how you want it to hit. Right. But this was like really smooth, and it just kind of just went into the groove, and we rocked and we did our thing at Tramps, and that's what led us to meeting Q-Tip. Well, Consequence was in the crowd. told Tip, I want to rock with those dudes right there, talking about you and me on stage.
Yeah, and then so that's the story of how we ended up getting on the Love Movement and being on a Tribe Called Quest album. And then also within that story of as far as like, where did you learn how to put a show together? Because I'm around you all that time, but it wasn't until we had that moment for me to learn that from you. What made you say, yo, let's just not come out on stage rapping. Let's
Right.
put a show together.
I guess I'm like heavy into showmanship. So I do a lot of studying. I watch other people's shows, and I may see, like, let's say like if it's a Big Daddy Kane show, I'm like, oh, that's kind of dope how he introed the show. I might want to borrow some of that, make it my own, but I'll get inspired from that and then want to twist it and turn it into other things for me. So just seeing other people's shows and just grabbing from all over. That's what, like, maybe be on that showmanship part of the set.
So who would like some of your influences coming up?
Influences would be Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, Common, Redman.
Oh yeah, I remember you a huge Redman fan.
Yeah, that was my thing.
Redman was your dude. Redman
That was my thing.
God. That's what I remember for sure. I was a big G-Rap fan. You was huge with Redman, and then you also was like the dude that kept me on point with R&B. People don't know R&B knowledge is on another level. R&B knowledge on another level. So
there's soon about I listen to hip hop and rap all day. I mean, I did then, less now. You know what I mean? Because there's not a lot of artists that I'm into that I can listen to your catalog like that. But I do listen to a lot of R&B.
Yeah, I remember if a new R&B album dropped, new hip hop album dropped, you have both. Then I would come to the crib, popping cassettes back then, and then we go through. I remember going through an album with you, and you played this. You would play the song and be like, "Nah, that ain't it." And then if you like it, you'd be like, "Yeah." And then you play the next one, and be like, "Nah, I don't really like that." It was very critical, man. So speaking of all those influences, where'd you get the name from and where you're from? Because some people might not know where you're from.
Oh yeah, because I do get a lot. People think I'm from Brooklyn because they hear you say it around from Brooklyn. I'm from Manhattan, Lower East Side Manhattan, Alphabet City. For those that don't know, that's kind of the area that I'm born and raised in and whatnot. And how I got the name Punchline, I went through a bunch of different names. So I was Divine at one point. I was Melody. I took my brother's rap name in the beginning when I first started. And then I just came into my own with Punchline and just started rapping with a whole bunch of punchlines. So that's kind of how it fit.
Yeah, and it's very fitting for you. Yesterday, I'm on YouTube, and you know how I just like randomly put up stuff from. First of all, your phone can hear you, so I might have mentioned, I'm interviewing Punch tomorrow, and then once you mention something, your phone on YouTube, all of a sudden it's in your feed. So yesterday, I'm sitting there, with Adanita, that's my wife, y'all. We sitting there, and on my feed comes up the freestyle with you, Consequence, 50 Cent, and Nori. It pops up, and I'm like, yeah, this is crazy right here, So obviously it heard me. So if y'all get a chance, go check out that freestyle cipher there when y'all get a chance. So during that time, what was like your understanding of where hip hop was to choose the name Punchline, right? Because around that time, it was just kind of trying to figure yourself out. How did you kind of like figure yourself out as far as Punchline? I'm gonna rock with that one. What made you say
that? For some reason, like, a lot of names didn't stick or stay with me as the way Punchline did. It just seemed to just go. It didn't feel forced. It just kind of naturally just like, yeah, it's Punchline. And everybody just started calling me by that, Punch or whatever. And it just kind of just stuck and grew into that. And then after that, I just started writing a lot of rhymes, making sure I had a lot of punchlines in them, a lot of one-liners, you know what I mean? Like, just make it real entertaining.
Yeah, that was the era though. Really, like thinking about that time when we used to go up. One of the main things is us going up to Stretch Armstrong and Bobbito. That was the main way we got our name out there, going to Stretch Armstrong and Bobbito. Shout out to them. Red Hot Lover Tone took us up there, and that really set it off. And then we would go up there on our own, and then we kind of like held our own. Yeah. What was that? What do you remember about those times going up there as far as maybe the pressure of it?
I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie, going up the stretch and ball, because you know how you idolize and listen to something so much. It's like, oh shit, I'm on this show. So it's like, yo, I'm on Stretch and Ball. I got to kill it, because before me, I've heard every other rapper go up there and body it, whether it was a Nas, Method Man, whoever. I was like, yo, I got to kill it. Big L, right? I said, yo, I'm up here in the spot where these dudes rhyme, and I got to kill it. So I just remember, so you know, and people don't know that we was rocking with Trackmasters at the time. So
Right.
whole thing for me was, yo, every line got to be crazy, like every line. So like, let's say if I had a rhyme and that every bar was every line. So I started writing like that. Every line got to be crazy. So when we go up there to rhyme, I know I had some rhymes and whatnot.
Right.
So I was like, let me do what I got, and you know, I got to try to kill it to the best of my ability, because New York City is listening. It's 2 a.m. and they up. You know what I mean? Like, you got to kill it. And that was just how I came at it.
That was our way of going viral back then. That's how we went. We went viral at that time, but we didn't call it that, of course. But that's how that cassette the next day in high schools was being passed around, or colleges. They were just like, that's how we got our notoriety. And shout to Eclipse and Riz.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout to NYU going up there as well. So that's for y'all out there. That's pretty much how we got that notoriety. So if you check out that Stretch Armstrong about Beto film, me and Punch were up there as well. I think we get mentioned in that film. I think they mention our names.
They mention our name at the end of the film. They give everybody their like mention, so our name was up there. That was dope, because when I watched the whole doc, I was like, they didn't put us in there. I was mad until to the end. I was like, oh snap! All right, they mentioned us, so we got to mention.
Yeah, I don't even know if they were. I don't think they were recording at that time. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
they didn't.
So your writing style, to me, because I've been around you, I think it may be underestimated, maybe underrated as well, because of the name Punchline. So people may assume that's where you're always going to go with it. But I remember us doing the I-95 record. I kind of was like, I don't know about this. And then you came with the flow. You came with the flow writing it. And I was like, okay. And then I did my thing, and that wound up being a great record. You know, I just think the timing of it and us trying to figure out who we are in the game, it might not have meshed with maybe fans, but if you listen to it today, of course, it just works, because now it's such a global world that you can kind of put out anything you feel.
Anything, yeah.
Right. So to me, your writing style has always been able to like really want to take chances. You'll even like, you know, try a different flow or say, yo, rhyme like we might rhyme like this or do this and that. How do you define your writing style if somebody was to ask you?
For me, my writing style is I write for me. So what that means is a lot of people like whatever's going on right now, like a lot of dudes want to do Griselda or whatever, right? Which is dope at the time, or they want to do the down south stuff, or if West Coast is popping, I don't do that. I just write for me, meaning like I do what I like. So hopefully some of you guys like what I do, and if you don't, I'll catch you on the next one. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna just write how I want to write and present what I want to present, how I want to do it. That's just how I've always approached my writing with any music that I've done.
And currently you have a single out, right?
Yeah, right now I got a joint out produced by Confidence. The record's called No Capping, featuring the Bad Seed on the hook.
And with that song, is that's one song of another project, if I'm right?
Yeah, well, so I recorded about 9 records thus far, and Confidence was like, oh, we gotta start throwing some of this stuff out. So I put out It's All Fair, and then after that I did the one that's out now is No Capping. So just kind of just letting people know I'm coming back, but I got some more music on the way as well.
So when you're crafting, are you pen and paper, you know, computer, on your phone, or off the top? How are you doing it? Writing in your head?
I write it in my head, but I do got to put it down on in my phone because I'll forget. So most of my writing's in my phone, but my favorite place to kind of think up rhymes and do stuff is crazy. It's a new thing that I've recently been doing. I take a shower.
Yeah.
So I'm in the shower and I could just stand there and just, my mind will just start thinking of stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I'll just keep saying it in my head until I get to my phone where I can jot it down in my phone, and then I'm good from there. But yeah, the shower normally is where I start to write.
How hard was it for you to transition from writing on paper to like, technology? Were you like kind of like, or you just was like, yo, this is it, this is what it is, it's easier? Because some people, despite how easier it may be, purists.
Yeah, I was a purist for a long time. I had to be pen and paper, right? Well, pencil. I hated pens because you can't erase
Right.
it. So for me, it was pencil and paper, and I used to write my rhymes in there. Then once I finished one composition, I was like, I gotta go to the store and buy another one. And then I just didn't feel like going to the store buying no more books, and I just started going in my phone around the Drake era. So wherever he started rapping, and I was like, all right, let me try the phone thing. Then I said, oh, there's notes. Oh, so I can write it in my notes. So then I just started writing rhymes in my notes after that, and it just became real easy. It was cool, quick, fast. And it's like if I got to go to somebody else's session and write, I have it with me. So it's like, yo, pull it out and just start writing.
And probably like, because you got me thinking, like, even during the travels is easier. Like on the train, on the bus, you could,
Mm-hmm. I've
you
written rhymes on the train before.
yeah, you ain't necessarily pulling out the pad and pen on a train like people probably used to, but like it's just way more convenient to do it that way. And
Yeah.
then once you got the bars down, what's your first thought? Is it, well, for the beat, of course, is it gonna be the verse first or the chorus first? What's your preference, or it doesn't matter at all?
Preference for me is the rhyme first, but it depends on the beat. Sometimes I might hear a beat right away and a hook will just hit me first. And then I got the hook. So now I can just go write the rhyme how I'm going to write the rhyme. But depending on the beat, you know what I mean? If it's one of those beats where it just feels like, oh, I can kill this, I'll just start thinking a rhyme. But if it feels like a song, then I'm like, I'm in song structure mode where I'm thinking of the chorus first. And it's like, all right, how I'm gonna start this? I'm gonna start this with the hook instead of just the verse. You know what I mean? I'll think in that kind of way.
And then when you got the chorus, are you open to um how often do you stray away from probably your first, I guess, idea from where we came from, the 90s? Like, I got a hook, maybe get some cuts, or let me say it
Mm.
myself. Do you think about like getting a singer, or do you now kind of like think a little bit more global than maybe you used to?
Oh hell yeah! I think way more bigger than I used to. Before I felt like I had to do everything, and then I realized, you know what I mean. Even if it's not even singing, but like a rap hook, with somebody else's voice on it, as
Right.
opposed to my voice being on it, right? Which is kind of how the record with me and Bad Seed came about. I'm like, I just want to put a hook. Let them do the hook, and it'll be dope. So I do think like that. I think in advance of who might sound good on what, or whose voice that I could remember. Like, yeah, this fits. So I do play around with stuff like that.
And then are you ever like afraid to like do the reference? Like if it's a singing hook, because I
Mm.
can't sing, but I don't mind melody. So like if you gotta lay the melody down for somebody that actually is gonna sing it, or you ever like, nah, I ain't gonna,
Nah,
you know what I'm
I'll do
saying?
it. I'll lay it down. It don't matter if it's a singer hook. I ain't no singer, but I'll say it in a rhyme form, right? Because the words gonna rhyme either way, right? I'll let them do the runs, and I'll tell them what I want them to do as far as the singer. But I'll just kind of like just put the vibe of it down, the cadence of it down, and then send it to them. Like, and then I'll explain to them exactly how I want it. So I've
Right.
done that in the past before. Other than that, I've just given it to other people, and they wrote their own stuff.
Yeah, and then oh man, some people may not know that we wrote a song for Joe Pesci. You know, I gotta put that up there because I'm up here thinking about it, and some people may not know we wrote a song for Joe Pesci. Hopefully, I'm spelling his name right on here because I'm adding that now to the conversation as we speak. Um, so
Yeah, wise guy.
well, right, the song was called "Wise Guy."
Mhm.
Um, let me even fix that so that when people see this, they can actually go look it up. So the song was called "Wise Guy," and we had an opportunity, not even opportunity, we actually did it, and they made a video.
It was his first single.
Yes, hopefully I spelled his name right. I might not, if y'all know who I'm
No,
talking
you
about.
did.
Okay, so me and Punch we were around Track Masters in our younger years, and at that time, Track Masters may have had to deal with Columbia already for their their print,
Yeah, they was
right?
they were they were like presidents at the time of
Right.
Columbia Records. So a lot of projects is coming in, and They was like, yo, every now and then we'll get that call, like, yo, I need you guys to come write for this person, right? So Joe Pesci would be one of those dudes. So it's like, Joe Pesci, the actor, like, yeah, he's doing like a comedy album or whatnot, and we want you guys. We got this record, so the record was Wise Guy, which we wound up going in. It's like, yo, we here with the dude from Goodfellas, like, you know, like we seen the movie, so we're a fan of the movie. But it's like, yo, this dude is like, really? I'm really with Joe Pesci, coolest
Right.
dude ever in the world. I always tell people this. Cool guy, man, down to earth, real dude.
And we missed out on an opportunity to take a pic back then because we weren't thinking
No,
like
we
Instagram.
took a pic.
We
His
did.
man took the pic with his camera. So Joe's people got it. We never got one because we didn't have camera phones back then.
Yeah, we weren't on top of it like that to be thinking like, yo, we need a picture and I want to post it on my gram and all that. Now it's kind of like regretting missing a lot of picture moments because I kind of think about it now like, dang, it was so many moments that we missed out on.
Yeah.
But so I remember writing the song with him and he had the hook already. And he was like, it's the bitches that'll get you. Remember?
Yeah.
He wanted to say
you gotta do something like this. It's the bitches that'll get you. And it's dope though, because it brought his own flavor to it. Because we wouldn't have thought to say stuff like that. But him being Italian, you know what I mean? There's certain phrases and stuff that they say. So it fits. So it made it dope.
Yeah. And what was so dope about it, they made a music video from it. So that music video is out there. If y'all get a chance, check it out. I actually have I think I have the VHS tape of it too, from like the company.
Yeah, I still got the VHS tape. I still got mine.
So yeah, Joe Pesci of Goodfella fame and all of that. Me and Punch wrote a song for it. So go check that out. So how long does it take you to write a verse or a song?
It's weird, man. Depending on the beat, it can go as fast as an hour, or it can go as fast as a week to a month. Right? Because if it's something that's really, really good to me, I might overthink it. And it's like, because I've noticed when I wrote rhymes for other people, I can just do it like that. I'm not overthinking it. But for myself, I'm like, oh, what's the first line? First line, I got to grab them. And I'm sitting there thinking of a first line. That might take a week to 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And then figure out what I want to say on it.
Is that because, Punch, you're writing it for people that don't have the same expectations?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you could write it, but you don't necessarily have to overthink, because some people, I would say, such as yourself, you're in a category of whatever you say and write is going to be scrutinized because they look at you for a certain standard. But when writing for some people, from experience, we know that you got to sometimes, I don't want to say dumb it down, but just make it easier to digest, if that's the right thing. So is that kind of maybe one of the things, just like, how scrutinized what you're gonna say?
Because I'm like, I know if the verse is whack, they're gonna be on me. So I gotta make sure every line is crazy, like always, or you know what I mean? I say something to shock somebody and stand out amongst everything that's already being heard out there. So I do put the pressure on myself. But when somebody else just whatever, cat hat bat, you know what I mean? I just take it.
So then how about, do you prefer writing in the studio or at home?
Home. For me, home. Studio, the clock is on you because they're paying by the hour. So you can waste money doing that. Yeah, I used to do that a lot back in the days, right? But once I was able to have it set up in the crib, now I can just, create my atmosphere, cut the TV on, even if I ain't watching it, right? Just have it on. I have something to drink and I can just hear the beat and just take my time. If I want to get up, go to the bathroom, come back, I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can take my time with it. And I just like the end result of it for me.
Yeah, I remember when we used to go to the studio and I would call you and be like, you got it ready? Be like, yeah, I got a few more bars. Like, you wouldn't leave. You wouldn't even come to the studio yet. I'd be like, I'm on my way there. You'd be like, yeah, I just need a few more bars and then I'm gonna head out. So you really didn't want to come to the studio without it.
No, I didn't want to come have it not written. I want to come with the verse done. Then I just go in the booth, lay it down.
Was that because you just didn't want to like have a delay with what's going on, or you just want to be in and out and got other things to do?
That more of that, I wanted to be in and out. Like I didn't want to sit there all day, and because you could be in studio for 10 hours, you know what I mean? It'll just happen. But unless it's something like the producer or whoever pulled the beat up right then and there, then okay, I got to write on spot. But like other than that, because I can take my time with my thoughts and just not overthink it or rush it. Because if you're in the studio, I might be like, oh, damn, they only here for 2 hours. I need to think of something right away. So the bar may not be the best in my opinion. I'm just trying to get it completed. Right. So I might say a whole bunch of, I might have an ill line, but then have some BS around it. So it's like, yo, let me just get ahead and finish it in the crib and take my time with it. Because I know once I get to the studio, I'll perform it with no problem. It's just coming up with the lines.
And then looking at your past being in the studio, give me a comparison of what you prefer today as far as the atmosphere when creating back then when we were younger and what it was like in the studio or writing or whatever, compared to now. What do you prefer? What are some of the differences from writing or being in the studio back then? Did you like a whole bunch of people in the studio? Do you also like to write in the day or nighttime? Do you like it loud? So kind of like give us a insight on how you like your atmosphere.
Oh, my atmosphere for me, definitely daytime. After 2 a.m., my brain ain't working. So if anybody's trying to do a record with me after 2 a.m., it's not going to happen. It ain't going to be good. Daytime, I don't like a lot of people in the studio. I mean, because I hate sitting there thinking and people start talking. Like if somebody hanging out and they're not really an artist, they talk to me about something I can care less about at that moment. You know what I mean? Oh, that's the new Jordans are coming out. It's like I don't care. Like, yo, bro, I'm thinking of a rhyme right now. Leave me alone. So I don't like people in the studio with me other than the engineer and the producer. That's it. The artist, whoever. As far as then to now, then it was just, the paper. I'd just be writing, crumbling up. You would see a whole bunch of crumbled paper around me. Now I kind of like it now. No paper, no crumbling. I could just delete, take a phrase out, reread it, have fun with it, and I can add on and subtract whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I like it for myself.
I spoke to Mickey Fax, and he said he doesn't like the beat repeating in the studio. Once he got the beat in his head, it's locked in. So he said he was in a session and everybody else around him needed the beat to keep going. And he was like, yeah, I got to step out, y'all. No disrespect. And he had to leave to go right for the beat as opposed to letting it just loop. How about for you? Is it leave the beat on or is it like, all right, let me just concentrate?
That's crazy because I do understand what he means by that. For me, I'll probably be like to hear the beat keep going. But like I said, I'm home. So even if it's like I could pause it, I go in the shower and just start thinking of stuff. Like the beat ain't there. But I'll start thinking of the lines. You know what I'm saying? So majority of the time I do like the beat there, but I understand exactly what he means. You don't need to hear it. After a while, it's just noise. It's not even like a good thing anymore.
Yeah, it's to me, I'm off and on. I could if I'm in the atmosphere and the beat playing, I can mess with that. But I do like that little break too. Like, a lot of times we might be in the studio and be like, yo, take a walk to the store. I remember times we would do that too. Yo, I'm just gonna go down.
We'll go to the store and come back.
We used to go to the diner. Yo, go to the diner, come back, and let the just kind of let it breathe a little bit. Do you like writing to the beat? Or you rather have the rhymes prepared already and just be like kind of paste it to what the beat is?
As I got older, I like writing to the beat because then I found out, I can write a rhyme and try to fit it to the beat. And sometimes it don't fit. You know what I mean? It just sounds like a whole bunch of wordy stuff over a beat that I try to force. But, now I can get the flow, the groove, the cadence. You know what I mean? Oh, right here, I'm gonna add this ad lib right here to stand, so I can play with it more. So I prefer to write to the beat more now.
I kind of think that's also maybe the growth of us being, I guess, going from levels to it. Is that like everybody becoming MCs when we started doing more shows and stuff, and then we started elevating, then we became songwriters. So that's when brothers started going like, yo, that rhyme I said on the radio freestyling ain't fitting this song, this beat sound like, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's like different levels to it. Do you still walk around with like 3-4 verses? Because I don't be having no verses punch in my head like that.
No, but it's funny because recently me and AL did a bunch of freestyles and stuff together. So I'll memorize those and I'll use those as my 3 or 4 verses. But it ain't like how it used to be every day. I got like I got some bars in case somebody want to like battle or whatever. Nah, I'll walk around with it like that. And at this point, if you want to battle me, I don't know what to tell you, because if you haven't heard me rhyme then or don't think I'm good, then I must have never been good. So I think my name alone be like, I'm cool. But I got a verse that'll impress you. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't like, I got 3, 4 every day. No, I don't have 3, 4 new verses every day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I get too much life in right now for me to be sitting down writing all day.
Yeah, to me, I think at this time at our age and stage, it's probably like we know we're going somewhere, so we might write for that moment, but like it's not like just having a whole big catalog to just be spilling out like that. And then what's your beat picking process? So working with confidence, working with different people that you're either writing songs for or writing for yourself. How do you know, like, oh yeah, this is the one right here?
Well, first for me to even get into listen to a whole bunch of beats from a producer, I listen to the quality of his beats first, meaning his sounds. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of producers that are kind of just starting out, and they may not have that quality. Like they'll take me back, maybe think I'm in '95 listening to some like crazy old school boom bap stuff, and it's
Yeah.
like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like I want the sound to be right. Like sonically, I want everything to sound big. I don't like the beat sounding like some joint that I'm rhyming in like somebody's alley. You know what I'm saying? I want the joint to be like a big production. So I like the large, big sound. So once I hear that from a producer, then I'll go into his beats, seeing what else he got until I find that one I feel fits me. Which took a minute because you got to know what's for you and what ain't for you. You know what I mean? Every
Mhm.
beat ain't for you.
Yeah, I've gotten beats and I've told the producer like, yo, I like boom bap, but this don't sound like a modern boom bap to me. Like the drum
Hmm.
you're using still sounds like super old. Like there's so many new drums. Like you can do boom bap. I love boom bap, but
Yeah.
there is a new sound of boom bap, I think, today. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I'm always thinking like if you're gonna send beats, then kind of go listen to what's hot right now. You got Apollo Brown, you got Stu Bangers, you got uh the whole Griselda movement. They making like that sound of current boom bap in my eyes. And
I do
then
hate that though. I like recently, like if I'm a producer, they'll send me a folder of beats. I get a lot of that Griselda feel where everything is boom bap, slow. And I'm like, it's cool. That's them. Let them do them. I don't wanna do what Griselda's doing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I gotta perform this stuff. So it's like, yo, you sending me all these slow beats. It sound cool if I'm sitting here just listening to it in the crib. But when I hit the stage, my energy level don't match that. Like the beats holding me back. I need them joints. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
yeah, we're gonna turn up.
Do you feel you deal with just the stereotype of or what do you feel about this stereotype? Yo, I got some beats that I think you sound good on. When people send you
Mhm,
beats that they think you sound good on,
mhm.
as opposed to like sending you a folder of beats. So what do you think about when people say I like they try to put you in a box of this is what I think you'll sound good on? And also, how many beats do you prefer to get sent?
Okay, the amount of beats I prefer to get sent don't really bother me. If it's 30, 50, it don't matter. I'm cool because I'm gonna listen because I'm gonna go through it until I find one. But what was the first half of the question again?
As far as when people say,
Oh, this
um,
sounds
this sound like a punchline beat, yo, check
yeah.
it out.
I hate that because because nobody knows what's in my head or what level I'm at. They'll send me what they think I sounded like off the Lyricist Lounge album or what I sounded like on the Black Star album. There'll be some real dark, deep, muddy stuff. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, if I did that already, I want to do something new. You know what I'm saying? Have fun and do something new.
And then what about your delivery when you're recording? Do you like to get punched in? Do you want them to punch you in, or is it straight through every verse? Do you mind being punched in on the verse of the song?
I don't mind being punched in. I like doing it straight through. But I do understand sometimes, like, if it's like a brand new rhyme that I just wrote, like on spot, I'm probably do the punch because I gotta remember the cadence and the flow of it. So I'm making sure my performance of it is dope. And if I need the punch, I'll do the punch. But normally run straight through.
And is this a concern of yours when you're recording yourself?
If I'm recording myself, I'm straight performing it straight through.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's me, it's straight through.
And then what's your revision process like when you're writing a rhyme? Like, because now you say you ain't on the paper no more, crumbling the paper, crossing out. How long are you sitting there? How do you know when, oh, that line is not good? This is it. How did you develop to know that?
For me, it's in real time. So now when I write, it's because I'm writing in the phone. Let's say if I wrote the first 4 bars, I'm constantly saying it to the beat in my head, boom, 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 and then what's the next line? And I'm thinking what I have, and I'm like, I don't know about that one, so I'll erase it right then and there. I'm like, nah, this kind of I could come with something iller. Or how crazy could I said it this way, I might could say it another way, right? I'll think of that. So it's in real time as I'm jotting it down in my phone.
And then is there like a little, I guess, within you, like the competitive nature that's in you because of being an MC, as far as you going, nah, that ain't it, because yo, you've heard thousands of raps now. Like we talking about maybe a million worth of verses, songs that have 3 verses, and you know, despite hearing all of those rhymes and all those rappers over time, you know you're gonna come up with something that's better than probably a majority of rappers. Does that come into your mind too during the revision? Like, it got to be something better because of that.
Yeah, that comes in as well. And that'll start in my approach of how and what I'm gonna say, or I might have heard some other artists early and be like, oh, I like when this person did this, so I'm gonna flip it. How, you know what I mean, in my way? Like, how would I say that? So it would be stuff like that. But definitely, that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah, I used to think that if somebody used something, a word or a rhyme or maybe a metaphor or simile, like, I can't mess with that no more. But like now you realize, like, yo, that word or that rhyme, I can flip it better. I can say it my way. Before, I think people would be like thinking you biting or something like that. But nowadays it's more so like everybody see it from their own perspective. So even though it's the same rhyme or like let's say Kim Kardashian, you like, all right, 10 rappers can mention Kim Kardashian, but it's about how ill you're gonna make that rhyme scheme work. Because I was talking to Tone Deaf, and Tone Deaf, since I knew him back then, he wouldn't repeat the same rhyme word that he rhymed with back in the days. Like if he used that word to rhyme, he wouldn't do that. So I asked him in the interview. He said he still does that, Punch. He reads all lyrics and makes sure he has not used that rhyme word.
Oh wow,
I'm like,
I've never done that. I've never
yeah,
done that.
like I never put that much pressure on it, brother. I was like, because you know what I remember, Punch. I remember at one time I was thinking that mindset of like trying to be the best. I want to try to figure out something else to rhyme with this. So like maybe car. Let's say the word car. I might be like, I already rhymed something with car and the other song, car and a far. I'm not messing with car again. But then this verse come up, yo, such and such in the blue, red car. Now it's different. And then the next bar different, because the era we came up when dudes was using ice all the time. I got that ice, such ice. And I started realizing dudes is repeating ice, jewelry, cars. They're repeating, you know what I'm saying? So why be so
or they used to do a lot. Remember, my style's fat. Like it would always be style's fat. Like, and they'll compare it to whoever's big at that moment. So that was something everybody had my style's fat. Like
my style's fat, like right. And then I was thinking like I had to get out of my own way with some of that over time. Like let me not be so crazy because people aren't being too particular like that. And if you're a songwriter, you just got to keep that open, that chest of words, you know. So storytelling. So on like the no cap joint, the no capping joint, you got you're telling the story on there. What's that like for you when you're writing and crafting the songs now? How important is it for you to show people your storytelling abilities?
Right. So with this with this project I'm actually working on, and even with no capping, I kind of pulled from real life experiences. Right.
Okay.
So things that was just happening around me at that moment is like, oh wow, that could be a song. So the no capping thing. I don't think I even told this kid. It was inspired by a friend of mine, right? I'll leave
Right.
his name nameless at the moment. But and it wasn't like he's doing this, but I could see how somebody might think he's capping with his lifestyle. So I
Right.
was
Right.
like, yo, that's a record. And then everybody's saying no capping now. I'm like, yo, let me do something like this. So I pulled some of the experiences from him and then from a female friend of mine that I was messing with at the time. So it's like, you just see a lot of wild stuff. Like, like Shorty, like the one line I use, bought a brand new car, but you going shopping with an EBT card. So I'm like, I knew a girl like that. That's like new ride, right? But she's about to go to the supermarket and use her EBT card. So I'm like, yo,
Right.
this ain't the way you want to live your life. Like, it's cool, I get it. You got to do what you got to do, but your priorities ain't it over. So that's what made something like that come about.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things about the song in itself too, Punch, that I had kind of like brought up earlier, as far as you like not being afraid to like touch on like what's going on currently.
Mm-hmm.
So you even using the slang of today as an artist from our era, some of them wouldn't even think about. They're like, nah, I'm not trying to do that young boy stuff. But it's like it's just part of slang. Our slang is gonna keep changing the way we
Mm-hmm.
talk. So like even picking that title and coming up with that title, I think that shows and gives credit to like, yo, I gotta keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
keep moving with the game.
Like it's no difference from us saying, yo, I went to this party, it was really good, as opposed to, yo, it's lit in there. Yo, it was lit, right?
Right,
Some people like, I ain't talking like the young boy. Yeah, it's just, if you're around people that's using the word or the term, eventually at
right.
some point it's going to like filter into your conversation on how you speak and present things. So that's kind of how it is with me. Like I might hear it in a record or hear it in a TV show, or somebody around me might start using the term, and it's like, yo, well, all right, it's lit. All right, cool.
Right. And I think that's you gotta embrace the new slang. You ain't gotta be trying to, it ain't like you trying to hang with the young boys and do this
Yeah.
and that. And I think it's just kind of natural. If it sounds natural, that's the main thing I think. It gotta sound kind of natural for the most
Hmm.
part. They using our stuff still. Dope.
Yeah.
They still using our stuff.
They
You know?
they buying Jordans and thinking those are like brand new. Like, no, those are retros, brother. Like that
Yeah,
came out of my era. Like, so I can use your term. You using my clothes.
yeah. Even fresh. You saying you
Hmm.
staying fresh? That's old,
Fresh
So
is old.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they think, some, we using their stuff. It's like, nah, y'all too old to be using that. Nah, y'all using our stuff. So I think it's just part of the culture that we just got to embrace each other's slang and so on and so forth. So as you've been crafting all these years and making songs and records, how did you define finding your purpose with the music? What do you think is your overall reason for making music now?
For me, it's more therapy, more therapeutic for me. It's like my thoughts or whatever these wild moments that stay captured in my mind. I get to put them down on paper, and you know what I mean, and kind of express myself. It was my outlet of expression, right? I didn't have like some people they ball like, and they'll take whatever frustration from their personal life onto the court. I'm gonna kill this dude, like I'm tired of living poor. So dude might slam it on you or go. For me, it's I'm going to. Yeah, I'm gonna write this joint because I know when I perform it, I'm thinking how I'm performing already, and I'm writing the record. It's like, yeah, this is gonna work, and so for me, it's just allowing me to express uh different parts of me out to the public.
And then do you notice the difference of what your purpose was maybe an album ago, maybe a single ago, maybe some years ago versus us being super adults now with it? What's the difference from your purpose then to your purpose now, you would say?
My purpose then, I didn't know what it was. It was me still trying to figure myself out, and that's crazy because I get approached by up and coming artists or dudes that's trying to start rapping, and my number one question to every artist: do you know what type of artist you are? You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
that's a heavy question.
that's a heavy
Some people
question.
don't know. They just want to pick up a mic and just start rhyming. Like, you got to know who you are. Like, because you got gangsters, you got flashy, flossy type dudes. You got where do you fit in this? Who are you? And not saying that you have to fit with them, but
Mhm.
this is who I am. So I had to you just got to break it down on who exactly you are. And then the reason why I asked that because that's going to be your audience, right? So you're gonna build an audience. So now, if you ain't the gangster dude, but you making gangster records for a bunch of gangster audience, like it ain't gonna, it's not gonna compute, right? So it's like, yo, you got to know who you are as an artist and what you want to bring or have around you, because you got to know who you selling this stuff to. Because that's the other aspect of it. You writing it, who am I gonna give this to? So
Right.
if you got an all female audience, they may not want to hear you do shoot 'em up raps all day. So it's like, yo, girls like you. Why don't you just cater to the chicks? Do a bunch of chick raps. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then what was there ever like an intention behind you rapping? Like, I'm trying to do this so I can get this. I'm trying to get this. Is it for the fame? Is it for the money? Or was it just more so just like, I love rapping?
Yeah. For me, it was never for the money. And I think if it was, I wouldn't be rapping now.
Right.
It was just for honestly, just for girls. If I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it, yeah. It's for attention to chicks. It's like, yo, I'm gonna she gonna see me on stage, or you know what I mean? She gonna see me in video one day. So it was more or less for the chicks, like whether it was an ex-girlfriend, I'm gonna show her, I'm gonna be somebody, right?
Right.
I'm gonna write my rhymes and do what I do. So I would say the women for me was like the first thing of it that made me want to keep going and writing.
And then during those moments of writing, did you have like creative blocks? Do you get creative blocks? And then how do you get out of them?
Oh yeah, you always get creative blocks. Back then they used to just be like, oh, I got writer's block and I can't. Um, I now I look at it differently. I created to you, trying to not elevate and stay the same. Meaning like there's no right, yo, you can write anything down. Like even if it's BS, jot it down. You can always go back and fix it. Right. So you're not stuck. Your mind is just staying in one place. So it's like, yo, put the beat on and just come up with some stuff and see what you're gonna keep from that. Because even if the whole verse is trash, you might like 4 lines out of it. Like, I'm gonna take these 4, all right, let me put it with this, and I'm gonna add it with that. And now your mind's starting to move out of that block that you're in. So it's like, yo, you gotta just start coloring outside the lines at that point.
And then you made me think of another question too just now. So when we were doing the Lyricist Lounge show, people may not know you were one of the writers on there. So Punch, I think you came out first season, but then first season you were writing. So Punch was writing on the first season of Lyricist Lounge show. And what I was saying as far as getting a writer's block thing right there, creative block, we couldn't get a creative block. Like the show was coming out.
Yeah.
You remember like that was times of writing rhymes and just writing?
Yeah. Especially with that. I can't remember which sketch it was, but I know the clock was on one night. You, Power, and Fool had to do y'all had to go to the studio with Jeff to do the intro of the show. Y'all was creating the opening segment, how the show was going to play. So while y'all stood, I think I stood behind, I think it was the Cliff one. If I'm right, I can't remember. I know you came back and rewrote it, but I can't remember. It was something like that around that time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if y'all helped write.
I don't know if it was that or the bank robbery. It was something.
Yeah, I think it might have been bank robbery.
Not bank robbery, the jewelry store I meant with Snoop. It was something like that.
That's it. I think that's the one.
I think it was that. And me and AL stood behind and we were just coming up some stuff till we fell asleep. And then it was like, yo, this is what we got. And then he was like, all right, cool. Then you came and you restructured it and rewrote it and did your thing to it. But yeah, it was like, yo, we gotta do it. It gotta be done by the morning. We gotta have this before we go. So it's like, yo, we ain't got no time to play. It's like, and it was late. It was Cali time, and we from New York, so it's already like 5 in the morning here. You know what I mean? Probably 2 out there, and I'm like, yo, I'm tired of writing, but we did what we had to do.
Yeah, so like even you can speak more about that aspect of, we know the integrity of being an MC, but when we were writing for the show, even if I came up with a line and it's not good, dudes would do the gunshot in the air at it, blow it down. You come up with a line, it's not good. Like we all were writing together, trying to get the best of the best lines. And there was no egos.
No, it couldn't.
We didn't even think like that, right? It was like
in a house full of rappers. So a house full of rappers. It's like, yo. Because it wasn't like we doing posse cut records. It's like, yo, we gotta not only write it and rhyme it, you gotta think, because you gotta act this stuff out, right? So you
Right.
taking in the scene, yo, you gotta be able to, if you like how y'all did the football, right? Y'all in the huddle, it's like, hey, you go long. So you gotta like kind of have that stuff in there. So it ain't like, oh, I gotta body and kill this person. It's like, yo, how can I do this? So the theatrics of it come across on screen like that. You know what I'm saying?
So then going from that, as far as like, um, have you been doing anything working on like songs for like TV, film, or anything? Has that been kind of like some of the endeavors you're trying to get more into?
Yeah, something I'm trying to get more into. I haven't done it in a while. So
Right.
originally, so the album I did with Soul Clap, Underground Superstars, three of the records wind up going on ESPN First Take.
Yeah.
And they played one song for a whole month. The next song, it was three records they picked. So they played it for that whole month. And I still don't know how this connection happened. I didn't do anything to facilitate it. It came to me like, yo, we're going to use these three records. And I'm like, how did they hear this project? I'm like, okay, it must have been an underground rap fan or something. Next thing I know, I'm getting sent a check from Disney and the show's on this. And that kind of was sparked the idea. So I was like, oh, okay, you could do this. Then, once learning about it, you have, can't have samples and stuff like that. It got to be all original music. So now I'm like, okay, yeah, I could do that. That's easy. So just write a bunch of different things, you know what I mean? And then try to pitch them and see who can pick them up and whatnot.
And then I think nowadays that's kind of how a lot more music of ours is being found. Like people
Mhm.
probably sitting there watching ESPN and be like, "Yeah, that sound like Punchline," but they don't be knowing.
Mhm.
They hear it, but they be like,
The crazy part was right before they go, every commercial break, they play the record, and the
"Right,
record will be played. It'll have my name, song title in the bottom left corner of the screen. So it's like you see it, and then people hit me up, yo, I think I just saw you on ESPN. Or they'll take a picture of their TV and send it to me. I'm like, oh,
right."
yeah, the ESPN thing.
Yeah, because it's hard to make that connection sometimes because people think you may be a rapper doing this and just only good at that. But that I'm just, I love being on here talking to you to show other people you're in all these other realms that they,
Hmm.
sometimes it's just like, yo, what's up with Punch? It's like Punch is still in your face right now. You watching
Yeah,
ESPN, that's Punch right there. So he don't have to be right now on where you think he may need to be, and so on and so forth.
yeah.
And then staying motivated for you, how do you stay motivated? Like,
It's weird. I get motivated by it could be like it could be a Busta Rhymes thing performing at a award show, and I might catch something. Oh, I like that. You know what I mean? Or it could be something really trash, but everybody else is liking it. Hey, I like that. I can do that. Whatever. I'm gonna kill that. You know what I mean? Like, so some of the trash inspires me as well. So I just always stay in the mix, in the loop of the music because it's what I love. It's what I do. So just stay connected and just pull from different things that I see every day.
and then what's your idea of studio versus stage? What's the difference do you think there is? You know,
There's a huge difference for me. The studio is kind of like the kitchen, right? So I'm cooking up, you know what I mean, adding different spices and ingredients to make it sound good or in the cooking term taste good, right? But now it's time for me to present it and bring it to the table, which would be the stage for me. So it's like I gotta present it, you know what I mean, like in a big way. So y'all are like, you come in, you come to the table, hit all the garnishments and everything, like, oh, this looks great. So that's the
right.
stage for me. Like I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna really give it my all, my energy, and my presentation on the record and do it like this. So I'm gonna do it in a big way. So I'd always look at the studio as like you're just cooking up, and just because you're in the studio writing and creating a record, don't mean the record need to come out. You know what I mean? Like it's where you testing your thoughts and ideas at until you perfect it how you want. Then it's like, all right, cool. Now let me go to the stage with it and bring it.
And then let's give people like social media and some of the new projects. Also, could you elaborate on right now you're doing a party boat as well, right? You do a
Hmm.
party boat in New York.
Yeah.
Tell us some about that, like some of your other endeavors you got going on.
So yeah, so some events going on recently. This past summer, I was doing a boat ride party every Tuesday, And you know, right now we're doing it like once a month until it gets really cold. And by November, that'll probably be the last one. But I got one coming up Columbus Day weekend, October 12th. So whenever this airs, hopefully if it's before then, y'all come out to the boat, rock with us. It's a cool vibe. Sometimes I have performances, like we had Master Ace and his wife Lachey performing. You know what I mean? I had Jeff Red, had a law come out and sing and whatnot. So some cool stuff, you know what I mean? And project wise, I'm just trying to complete this album. I have a Confidence, which has been long overdue and whatnot. We started it during the pandemic, and then, you know, just different opportunities presented itself. So right now we just been throwing out some singles here, but I'm finishing up the album now to have it ready for the top of the year for 2026. And after that, I have another project that I'm working on with this cat named William Bostic from Lower East Side. He's really a dope producer.
Also Punches on. If y'all haven't heard the Stu Bangers album, me and Stu Bangers 2 Kings album, Punches on there, and he's on the new album that's coming out. So you're gonna hear more songs with me and Punch. We getting it together as well. And then also for the boat part or the boat ride party, where do they find the information for that?
You can go to my Instagram. It's on there, punchline_NYC. Once you go there, I'll have the flyer posted up on the page, or you can look at my stories and see it. And I have all the information on there. The boat normally leaves from 23rd Street off the FDR Drive.
Also, I don't want to forget, because, you know, if I don't mention how we met, it's gonna be, you know, Sono like, yeah, I ain't mentioned the brother. You know what I'm saying? Got to mention the brother Sono. So just for y'all that don't know, because some people might be wondering, I ain't delve into that really, because, you know, well, me and Punch, we have a mutual friend named Sono. He was part of a group that we had called the Incognitives back then.
Yeah.
And Sono went to high school. I went to high school with Sono. We both met in the gym. And one day was the next day in gym, the gym teacher was absent. We started rhyming in class. He was like, yo, you rap, boom, boom, coming to Lower East Side. And that's how I met Punch. So you want to tell the rest of the story, how Sono leaves and then me and you?
Yeah, so I had a group. It was me, Sono, and this other guy named G Smooth, my boy Charlie. Charlie was real hesitant from leaving the neighborhood, right? He was like really stuck on, like he was scared to go to Brooklyn and stuff like that. He used to hear, you know, Brooklyn used to be wild back then. So he kind of faded out after a while. And it was just me and Son. We was like, yo, we got to find somebody to add. They said, yo, I meant to do their words. In my school, you got him, yo, he's dope. You can rhyme. I was like, all right, bring him around. And then you came around and started rhyming. It was like, yo, all right, dope. Yeah, we put him in the group. And then Son goes away to college in Clark. He went to Clark, Atlanta. And you and me just stayed rhyming, but we wasn't a group yet. It wasn't punching words. It was just, we would just go everywhere together as far as open mic, ciphers, whatever the case was. And then one day we in the studio and Tone was like, I don't have time to produce you and produce words. You have to just be a group and just do it together. And then that's how Punching Words became about.
And I think Bobbito said it on the radio too at that time. Like, I think Bobbito was one of the people that was like, yo, should be a group as well. So that's how me and Punch got together. We had a mutual friend, and then that mutual friend now be all out and about, and me and Punch be more together than that mutual friend. All out and about. So we got a shout out to, and then also when I started hanging out on the Lower East Side, that was like pretty much my stomping grounds during the high school years. And we had our crew. So it was me, Sono, Punch, Earn, and Flo.
And Big Kareem.
And yeah, Big Kareem. And so I try to tell people, like, back then we had, the crews have changed now, right, Punch? So we had the rappers, then we had the Playboy. The Playboy was Earn, just girls, you know what I'm saying? And then we had Flo, the producer. You know, like, today, the crew is
it's weird that Flo became like the business savvy dude. Like, I don't know if I peeped that in him back then, but he's like now became so like business savvy and like doing business and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, I didn't look at it like that back then. You know what I mean? But now I see him doing it, and it's kind of bugged.
And then now today, it's more so with the crews of today. They got the video guy in the crew now that can film the video. So much independence part, you know what I'm saying? It's a different type of people in the crew now. Maybe
people had a team of
yeah, a team, different team.
Yeah, for me, yeah. I guess my team right now would just be me and like maybe one producer. I do have a dude that does video, but sometimes it's
Right.
hard to lock them in. So it's like I got to find that person now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I got to get that DJ. I got to get that video guy. I got to get the photographer or the stylist. Somebody's gonna bring something different to the table.
And then, man, I got a lot to ask you, but I'm gonna sum it up in a few. But your favorite five rappers or artists. It don't even have to be rappers.
Favorite
Any.
five I go with rappers.
Okay.
Favorite five. One would be Jada. You going current or just overall?
Overall, any genre.
Okay.
Any year.
One Karis One, because even I think over the course of time, he's still dope. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to perform after him. He can get you with the off the head stuff. So it's like, yo, with that dude, you don't want to be caught slacking. Like everybody put Rakim, and Rakim is dope. He's a GOAT. But I think over the course of time, it kind of proved who's a little bit better. He doesn't sound so dated and aged. You know what I mean? Karis One is still Karis One. It's like, yo, he captures your attention. Like, he's like, yo, what he said, you're still flipping on the line, right? After that, I'm gonna have to go with number two. I'll go with Jada because I hear him and still get amped and think about writing bars and whatnot. So Jada still is ill. Bring it a little current. I'm gonna go with Conway the Machine.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I'm
really
saying? Or I'm gonna go with we don't get enough music from him, but Fab, when he does do his thing, like Fab will get me excited, like, oh, I gotta write something, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So, and for number five, I probably would go with he moved up my rap list. I'll go with Busta for number five.
Okay.
He stayed coming with joints, you know what I mean? Like his work ethic and whatnot, and how he presents. How I had the privilege of being around him and watching him create, how he goes about even creating a song. So it's like I gotta give it to him. Like, he's homie is still on top of his game. He ain't slacking. Like, yeah, you gotta move him a little higher up on the list. So if you had him at 10, you could put him up to 7, 5. And if he sees this, he ain't go like that. But yeah, but that's what I mean. Like I gotta respect him on that aspect of it.
And then what are like 3 songs or album of yours you want people to check out right now? If they never heard of Punchline, what are 3 songs that you be like, if they hear this, they're gonna really be like, oh, okay, I gotta go really check them out, that people may have missed? Or three songs that are favorite of yours, Punch, that you like, you know what, forget those singles.
Of my own work.
Yeah, 3 songs or albums or whatever. You can do 3
I
of
would
each.
tell people, I like more of the newest stuff. I would say check out It's All Fair, Punchline
Okay.
and Confidence. It's All Fair. I put that out last year. There's another record, When It Rains, produced by I think you introduced me to him. What's my man? Gully TV. What's his name? The
Oh,
producer.
P.A.
P.A.
Dre.
Dre.
P.A.
Yeah,
Dre.
P.A.
Yep.
Dre. So yeah, When It Rains, it's on P.A. Dre's album. I'm featured on it. It's a compilation. So I had a record on there called When It Rains. That's something to check out. And then take it back some. I'll probably say listen to the EMC album. Listen to the show. I forgot but any record on the show you can listen to, and I would say check that out.
Yeah, I would say one of my favorite songs from you is Run.
Oh, the Run record off the it's
Really
crazy because I wrote that record not to that beat. I wrote that record originally. So Pope was trying to get his girlfriend to rap. He's like, yo. So there's a totally different beat. I wrote Run for a girl, and she never did anything with it. The record sat there for years and years. So I was like, yeah, I got a record. Yo, pull a beat up, and whatchamacallit, Soul Clap pulled the beat up. So now I just wrote it and made it fit to that. And I
Yeah,
told him what I wanted to do with the Run DMC part, with the run and all that. So I was like, the song was already just created. It was just me getting to tell him how I wanted it presented. And he put everything together and it came out like that.
So if people want to get in touch with you, they're gonna go to the Instagram and they in the DMs and they get in touch with you that way. For like verses or anything, right? Pretty much show.
Yeah, any verses, features, shows, or whatever. Yeah, hit me up on Instagram at punchline_NYC. That's that little dash that goes under. So that's the underscore sign. You can hit me there. Beats, anything. Just send it to the email. punchlizzy@gmail.com. PUNCHLIZZY.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate having you on here. This is, well overdue, man. And
everybody gonna ask like, "Yo, when Punch and Words gonna do something together like an album?" And I get asked that all the time.
It's leading up, brothers.
It's coming there.
We discussing, who to do it with, how to do it, because if y'all listen to the joints on the Stu Bangers album, it gives you a little understanding of how dope the records are when we are together. So
right.
Be patient about it, but brothers is in. We cooking. You got that one in there. We got another one coming. We got another one coming. So that. But yeah, man, I appreciate you being on here, man. I think a lot of people may not give you the credit that you deserve for writing and keeping me sharp, and people enjoy hearing us together on the song. I got the EP up there on the wall. Let me see if I can turn my computer without causing problems. Let me see if I can turn it. Right there.
Wow, I see it.
Yeah, I got the EP up there. So, I try to make it kind of like a little museum, of stuff and things like that. So that's up there for sure. And everybody out there, make sure y'all go follow Punchline on Instagram. Check out the videos, the song, the music, and everything he got out right now. And like always, like I always like to say, what are your words worth, y'all? Peace.
Peace.
Oh yeah, link in the description, y'all. Link in the description of everything.
Yeah.
What up, y'all? Thanks for always watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button. A lot of y'all leave comments, which are dope, and I appreciate that. Just go back, hit that like and subscribe so the algorithms can, send this out to everybody else that's into what we into. Peace.